Okay, the Canon EOS R5, my beast. Before I bought this camera, I did not know those two things. So I'm going to share with you. So before you pull out your credit card and buy this camera, you need to know those two things in 2021. Once it's announced in August 2020, the Canon EOS R5 got a lot of attention for its superb spec. Feature like 8K RAW up to 30 frames per second, internally recording with all with readout of the sensor. IBIS, GL autofocus, 4K 120 frames per second, were making the hell and all around the world. But unfortunately, after just few real-world tests started by Peter McKinnon, it was clear that there is a problem with the camera. Actually, there is a two problem with the camera for my liking. So those two problems for me. Before we get to that. So before we get to that, here is my giveaway. A DJI Mavic Air drone. When this channel reached 1,000 subscribers, thing to do, just simple three things. Like this video now, subscribe to the channel, and leave a comment with your name. Say, I enter. That's all. Thank you. So, what are the two problems for me? Overheating and also recall limit. So let's start with the overheating issue. Right. The EOS R5 can capture stunning 8K DCI RAW video internally to a CFexpress card using the whole width of the full frame sensor for truly cinematic look, I'm telling you. And also the focusing tracking is also available. When you shoot, it's like you shoot with one of those, maybe Red or one of those Hollywood budget camera, but it's only in that mirrorless camera. Honest, frankly speaking, it's stunning. But by the time that you finish framing your camera and you just press record and that's few seconds, the camera overheat and shut down. Basically, I exaggerate a little bit, yeah. It's not that bad. Yes, you get the point. So let's go a little bit back, yeah. When it's first introduced, when you shoot in 8K 30p, the camera will stop recording and shut down after 20 minutes. And in 4K 120 frames per second, it's only after 15 minutes. And what was even worse, it would take long time before the 8K recording is possible again. It's like it take an hour to get maybe 3 minutes or something like that, or 10 minutes. I don't remember the number. But, this obviously disappointed quite a lot of filmmakers, including me, that were initially so excited about the EOS R5. But Canon therefore released a firmware update 1.10 at the end of August. And this update improved overheating control management, which allows slightly longer recording time, up to roughly about 25 minutes in 8K RAW. And also, most importantly, much shorter recovery time between takes. So since then, we have the firmware 1.1. And, Canon address other area of the camera, but not much about the overheating issue, yeah? So the new firmware allows the camera to record 20 minutes in one go now. And the recovery time is 10 minutes, and then you will be able to record for another 10 minutes. And this recording pausing maneuver can continue for rather a long time with a different recording pausing time on each circle. To be frankly speaking, this is not as bad as it sounds actually. Since when we shoot, we always record, press, and then we pause, and we frame, and then we shoot, and we pause, we stop, and we record again. So those recording times, so when you press one and then shoot for a long time, that's when the time is related to that. But when you do this one, you don't feel so much of the overheating issue. So here are the two major issues where, this firmware, the latest firmware, tried to fix it. The first one, the camera is not starting to clock and calculate the recording time right after you just turn on. And the second, the camera can now sense its surrounding, and unlike before, an external fan, for example, can help reduce the heat if necessary. I advise you to check Matt from DIY Pep YouTube channel. I think he managed to significantly improve the overheating problem with the Canon EOS R5 with some improved internal copper heatsink and also an active cooling, base plate. And he was able to get unlimited 8K recording. So I suggest you watch Matt video on how he deal with that. Video link in the description below. So my second problem that I did not know before I bought this, the Canon EOS R5, is the record limit. You know, the EOS R5, alongside its groundbreaking 8K capability, the EOS R5 set new standard for videographer shooting 4K. You can capture 4K DSI full frame and 4K Ultra HD up to 120 frames per second with 422 10-bit quality, enabling silky, smooth slow motion with stunning high resolution. And also at a frame rate up to 60 frames per second 4K. There is a choice between using the full width of the camera sensor or 1.6 times crop, which is basically similar to size Super 35. And for those needing the very highest quality 4K quality, the EOS R5 4K HQ mode reproduces stunning detail at a frame rate up to 30 frames per second by oversampling 8K footage. Oh, this result needs to be seen really to believe it. Trust me. Okay, because sometimes YouTube does not give you the proper resolution, so it's a little bit compressed. Huh. So for all that, the EOS R5 still have overall recording limit of 2959. Canon, we are in 2020, and apparently the EU tax law that imposing the recording time limit does not exist anymore. I read that somewhere, I saw that somewhere. So here is a quick chart for you to understand the recording limit of the Canon EOS R5. And it is 2959 when you shoot 4K up to 60 frames per second. You can record up to approximately 20 minutes in 8K before the camera overheat. You can record up to 7 minutes 29 seconds in 4K, 120 frames per second. And after that, the camera stop recording and then you have to start again. Here is a full chart. 8K 30p. If you use the full size of the sensor, full width of the sensor, you have 20 minutes. And if you use the full width of the sensor in RAW, you again have 20 minutes recording 8K 30p. So in terms of 4K 120 frames per second, so if you use a full sensor width, you have 15 minutes, but after 7 minutes 29 seconds, the camera will stop again and you have to start. That's according to Canon. 15 minutes, yeah? 4K 60p. If you use the full sensor width, you have 35 minutes, but after 29:59, the camera will stop recording and you have to start again. APS-C crop, 5.1K oversampling, you have 25 minutes recording time. So now 4K 30p. Using the full width of the sensor, there's no limit by overheating. But after 29:59, the camera will stop recording and then you have to start again. And then if you record 4K HQ, full sensor width, which is 8.2 oversample, you have 30 minutes, but after 29:59, the camera will stop recording again and you have to start again and also overheating. APS-C crop, 5.1 oversample, not limited by heat, but after 29:59, the camera will stop and you have to start again. So that's a full list of the recording limit and also, the overheating issue with the Canon EOS R5 that you need to consider before you go back. So that's what it is, my friend. Did you find this video informative? Then do let me know by pressing the like button. Do tell me, you like the Canon EOS R5? Do I? Are you still shooter, mainly, or filmmaker? Why the EOS R5, not the A7S3? Thank you, my friend. Hakuna Matata. Always from me to you, love. God bless and protect you. And I'll see you in my next video, my friend. Thank you. Hakuna Matata. Ciao, bye now.